All right, so I'm gonna start the video off here because everyone's already seen the basic, take off the little trim piece, remove the grill, same old. Pop off the two 7mm screws on both sides. You got 7mm screws on both sides, pop those off. There's a 10mm right here. All the plastic clips got to come off. Stack them over there, take off that piece. 10mm, 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 10mm. Disconnect all your wires. Pull off this. Disconnect it from, see, I can't do this stuff with one hand. I ain't got it like that. Oh, disconnect it. There's another one right there. Disconnect it. Disconnect that, disconnect that. This one, you can pull it off the frame rail, disconnect that. Your bumper is ready, at least on the wiring side, to go. Didn't really think this through, so I think I got to transfer the sensors and everything as well to the new bumper. But anyway, you got 3 bolts around the frame rail. They're 21mm, uno, dos, and tres. Right? Even on this side, you get the same. Uno, dos, and tres. I'm about to pop those off, and then the bumper should just slide off. All right, but let me add this before I start, right? So I got my 21. I'm using a breaker bar because I'm positive these bolts are gonna be tight. You don't have to do it this way. I mean, honest and true, you can go from underneath if you have an extension and, some strong ass muscles. You'll be able to take that off from the bottom. I ain't doing all that. I mean, maybe you can remove that plastic cover piece down there. No, that's actually part of the grill, or the, what do you call it? That valence activator down there that makes it extend and retract. Yeah, so just letting you know you could do that. But I'm doing mine from the top. Gives me good access to these bolts. Get a breaker bar on it. 21, actually use it for my wheel key. So I mean, you probably have one you don't even know. So yeah, take those off and then back them all the way off, and bumper should slide right out. Advise, if you have a friend, ask them to come over. Not that it's hard, but this is a pretty wide bumper. When I was taking off the valence, again, the little trim piece right there, I scratched it. I dropped it, hit the concrete, boo-hoo. Hopefully I can polish it out. No one's ever gonna know except me. All right, let's go. All right, bumper removed. Factory bumper is a hell lot heavier than aftermarket. But bumper removed. I'm actually gonna use this time and install my tow hooks correctly, get the second bolt in there. Gonna figure out this harness situation because this is back to the truck. You pull off here for the air dam. You pull off here, which is a sensor that goes right past the intercooler or something. I don't know what this one is for, honestly. I don't know what that's for. But that's back to the truck. That got disconnected. That got disconnected. I'm guessing one of these, maybe that one, fog light controller, whatever. This controller and this, I don't know, maybe it's one of those sensors, those driving sensors. I don't have parking sensors on my factory bumper. I'm actually starting to wonder if it was something I could add. But yeah, that's off. You have the aftermarket bumper and you have the factory big dog. I'll say this thing weighs easily 70 pounds, maybe 80. Have a friend. Yeah, have a friend. If you have a friend, let them help you. If not, it is what it is. You can get it. Just trying to figure out what all is going to transfer over next. Maybe it's that air dam thing. I don't know, but it was heavy. And yeah, probably gonna, we gotta see how it looks first. Honestly, the factory fog lights are pretty badass in my mind. I don't know how these aftermarkets are gonna look. There's no DRL, so buyer's remorse, whatever. But I think it is still gonna look good. Let me keep moving forward. All right, so Now to highlight the significant importance of why I'm doing this video anyway. When you get this bumper, you get some instructions, you get a bag of bolts. This is what you usually get. You get all these bolts and etc. Shout out to Rocky Auto 4x4. Check them out at rockyauto.com. They decided to get me this bumper to put on the truck and showcase it. There's a few members who actually have it on the F150 Facebook forum. And yeah, I kind of like it. It's growing on me. But my job here today is to figure out what goes beyond step 1 and 2. Because they got put on the wings out the box, bracket them up, and that's what your instructions in. You know, if you get one of the guys from eBay to sell you this, that's probably all you're gonna get. But he's done some due diligence and found out that there are reinforcement brackets, which I'm gonna find out where they go. And there's a ton of bag of bolts that also come with this. I'm assuming it's the hardware necessary to mimic on the factory bumper where these studs are at. These studs right here. So you see how you have this plate with these studs, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3. You have the studs, factory anchor points. You can't just pull off this plate and stick it on there. What you got on there are holes that I guess you'll feed a bolt through, and you'll work a nut, or vice versa, whichever way you want to go with it. I don't think it'll make a big difference. I would rather put the nut onto the bolt. I just wish there was a way to fixate the bolt so it wouldn't just spin, which is what I'm already assuming might happen. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. All right, well, let's get to work. Man, I wish I had an STX. It would have been a lot easier. Even an XL, no fogs, none of this active air dam stuff. It probably would be verbatim. But yeah, let's figure it out. All right, so I decided just to leave it off. I gotta go through the factory bumper and just do a quick blow through and see what other electronics there are. So far, what I know of is you have DRL, fog lights, and an active air dam that moves up and down as I drive. All of that comes back to that plug. Now, that does also tie in to the vents right in front of the intercooler. I guess they close whenever I don't know, maybe when you turn on the heater or something, they close. Don't quote me on that. I'm just trying to make sure there's nothing fancy in here, like some, crash prevention sensors or something like that. I'm gonna pop this off and see if there's anything important in there. But for the most part, I got it mocked up. Not really proud, if that's a good word to say, of the hardware choice. It's just a bolt, a washer, and a nut. Like, not even a lock washer. I'm gonna go through and see if I can find a lock washer that can fit, but I'm almost sure that there isn't a specific type that was included. They gave you a bunch of lock washers. Wait a minute, let's see, there might be hope. These, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so they want you to go on with 4 bolts. There is lock washers. They want you to go on with 4 bolts, and you came off with 6. Not to mention that the grade of these bolts are a lot, narrower. It's not as thick of a grade of bolt. Just don't. My engineering prowess is like, bruh, this ain't the most trustworthy way about it, but I think it's gonna be okay. The way I'm installing them is washer facing out, and then lock washer gonna be on the inside. I keep questioning myself, do I want that? Would I like the washer to be on the outside so that if I do just use 1 and 2, I can easily pop this off. Still unsure about this, but I'm gonna definitely tell you guys which route I went. All right, so the next thing I did, taped up everything. Taped up that big plug, running the wire harness up. I'm gonna I'm gonna find where in the fuse box I can tap into power to the fogs, and I'll run it like that. I don't really want to just go through this harness or anything like that. I'm gonna try to tap it from the fuse box, and then tape that off, tape that one off. It's in the open position, which I think is fine. Keep that cool. I'm hoping that's the power to the activator dam or something random like that. I thought everything would come through that big old plug right there. Kind of makes sense. That harness feeds a lot of things, and then breaks off to whatever you have equipment package wise. But yeah, I think we got it. So next we'll run that. That's the turn signal for that side. Yellow is the turn signal for this side. Powers to the fogs, and we're gonna go from there. Put the grill back on. All right, so showed y'all tucking the wires in. Showed y'all where I made some zip ties at. Keep the wires from dangling all over the place. Use the 17mm socket to tighten up the bumper here and there. Put the plastic cover over. Little gaps I don't like, but cover up the bumper. Again, rigid, fixed in place. It ain't going nowhere. That right there, look at that. I see what those brackets are for now. I just don't know how to attach them. So that's the next on the list. See where I can attach them. Sorry, I'm moving all over the place. I got a wasp bothering me. So yeah, gotta figure out how to attach these bars right here. Okay. You can see they have a little angle to them on one end and they're flat on the other. I'm going to see if there's a place where I can go from the pod light attachment, one of those 3 pod light attachments, to possibly back to the frame. I cut my crash bars, so yeah, it ain't there. But I'm gonna see what I can figure out. I'll let you guys know if I figure out something. But just putting it all back together, and I'm gonna try it out, see if I get any codes. All right. First world problems, man. Don't make the same mistakes I did. Number 1, I got the valence or trim piece back on, and yeah, with this clipped in, I mean, you got the whole world between here, so, and here, and all here, you know, I can fit a whole hand in there. So it looks like they loosen it, pick it up, possibly an inch or more, literally raise it up an inch or more, and then tighten it back down. The good thing is, the way I did this, I might be in luck. So I might just be able to pull off that black trim piece on the bottom and then raise it up. So let's see. How'd I fix that little, jankiness? Still, you see, still on the pull side, there's still some play on that way. But what I did, I didn't bolt it. I technically used one of the pod lights. I screwed that bracket, piece of bar, flat bar into it, and ran it right above the crash bar that I cut and have it wedged between these two. Because it's kind of tight and it's fixed in there, it still has a little bit of play, but nowhere near as much as before. Might drive it and see if it does anything. Same thing on the other side. See that flat piece going back between the crash bars. That's what the extra screws and washers were for. They actually give you, 6 sets of bolts, washers, lock washers, nuts, just to install your own pod lights. That's why we had such an excessive amount of screws. So there's that. I wish there was a harness. I'm gonna go online and look and see if there's some type of harness that will give me the ability to tie into that one I taped up red right there. That back to F150, to be inclusive of you know, fogs, sensors, whatever. I didn't have any sensors. I'm actually wondering if it's that easy to add sensors just by getting them in if they're plug and play. I'm gonna look into that. Main reason is because just that active little dam down here in front of the radiator, that's unplugged. It's gonna stay wide open from now on till then. And then also, if there was a pigtail, then you could plug in, you know, wire your fogs, wire your DRLs, however you want it to. I mean, these function as turn signals as well. So it's a 3-wire system, 2 for power for both. And then each indicator has a wire and another wire. I'm about to see if I can tap either the headlight signal wire, or I'll tap the, I'll tap back to the fuse box, or maybe even one of the mirrors. You know, the mirrors have the same indicator going that way too. So lots of options to tap in. The only other thing I'm concerned about is, like I said, the indicator requires a power and a ground. I wonder if I have to get my fogs back, see which way I'm gonna wire those in. I have no clue yet. But yeah, old bumper. It is a 2-wheel drive, so I still have these. So who knows, it might actually help with the sale. These are badass. Daytime running light, fog, all built into one. There you just have fog and turn indicator. But I mean, it is what it is. Just wish there was something to tie back into, like you know, maybe I could find a jacked up bumper, get that pigtail piece right there off of somebody, you know, cut it off, get it off of somebody, get that harness, and then figure out how I'm gonna wire it permanently. But for now, I'm just gonna tap in some leads. Grill looks, I mean, the grill looks good. You know, the letters look great. The bumper, still want to figure out if there's a way to get those like end caps perfectly level. So I'm gonna have to play with that. I might have to go and mess with those Allen head screws and just keep playing with them until I can just get it right where I want it, you know. But for the most part, it's just OCD at the most. It looks pretty good. If y'all don't know, I'm from Houston, Texas. It's hot as F, man. But just to get this for y'all, there it is. It looks real good. I mean, it took me almost 3 hours now, but that's because I changed the grill lights, put the stickers on the grill, fixed the grill. I had one of my inserts fall out, find some washers, because when I got it painted, they didn't put the grill in the air dam in the back. They didn't actually, you know, use washers to tie them together with nuts. So I just put that back correctly, and the grill went on. Still haven't wired it, but that's, I mean, I'm about to show y'all that in a second if I can figure out if I want to go headlights or not. But yeah, man, it's pretty damn cool. It looks great. I like it a lot. But it's a win. All right. So the grill is on, but nothing is wired up. I think I got a plan for it. I think I know what I'm gonna end up doing. It sucks, but I got 2 options. First option is maybe I get like an aux beam, or, you know, one of those little switches, and just run all my switches, you know, for the fogs, like that. And then whenever I get to the headlights again, I will tie into the turn indicators by tapping each one of those. I just need to make sure I know which ones are which. The second option, and honestly, this might be the option I might consider. I'm gonna look for an adapter, maybe a cut up harness or something. If I can find one, look for an adapter off a wrecked bumper, and I am going to proceed to wire in what I need. So get the harness, take that backside. That would give me additional daytime running lights. So I have daytime running lights. I'll have intelligent fogs, right? So that's the main thing I want. I want intelligent fogs. And that's basically, if I turn to the right fog comes on. I turn to the left fog comes on. With the included harness, it is power to both, and then turn indicator each. So I'll do that. So I could then wire each one power power each one independently, left and right, so that I'll get intelligent fog back and get those controls back. Then I also could hook up the DRLs from that harness to either my side indicator lights, which I have tap to marker lights, but I could, you know, clean that up and run it, or I could run additional DRLs if I wanted to. I could run another DRL style light to each side independently if I wanted to. So I could do that. And also I still want that functionality back. And I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to wreck a harness to make a harness. I want that functionality back of my air dam, not my air dam, not the active air dam up and down one, but the actual vents down there. I could then hook that back up as well. But all in all, I like the bumper. It does look good. It does give the clearance. I can turn and not rub my bumper anymore. I think I am going to end up drilling a hole and making attachment points for these, because I do not like how those move. This side, got a bad pin spot. I'll take that back. I don't like that flimsiness. I see what the beam was for. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna be good. But hope y'all like it. Need to get a license plate holder. Those screws don't really fit that well, so they just in there, but I think it looks real good. It doesn't look too crazy. It doesn't look too out of place. Factory definitely still has its place in my heart, but this looks good. And yes, the R graphic is crooked, all right? So it's crooked, I suck. I might fix it. I don't think I can, but I might try to finagle it, get it to sit right. But for the most part, it's on there. That's how it's gonna be. I think it looks good. All the new additions look great. So tell me what you think. All right, to get the existing wire harness off, you will have to pop off these faces, get a couple pry tools. There's a bunch of plastic clips in. You might be better off just taking off these mounting brackets for the bumper, these on the back side, but I just didn't want to do all that. Didn't imagine there would be so many points of like tie down points or whatever, anchor points. But yeah, let's see if I can do this with one hand. I may. All right. So yeah, you unplug the, what do you call that? Air deflector, whatever, smart diffuser, whatever. You unplug that, you unplug the fog light on both sides, right? Opposite locations. And you just start snaking along the back side of here of the active air dam. There you go. And right here is a crucial point I want to call out to you guys. Do not try to get the connectors from down here. They will not fit through this gap. You might think that's how you have to go, or somewhere down here, but nope, it's going to be very difficult. You could possibly try to snake enough line down this way to where you could bring them over here, but they won't cross through, man. So I wouldn't even try that. Take it through the top near the plastic portion of the light. Take them all the way around here through the top. And the next point I want to make is take off these covers, right? Take off these plastic bumper covers, whatever. Pop those off, both sides. Pop them off. You'll see there's a main hard to get pin that I fought for like almost an hour. And then I realized I could just take off the cover and pop it out that way on that side. So I ended up cutting this one. It's a zip tie to a pin. And I ended up taking that one off. Pop these off, makes it so much easier. Pull them through, pull them up and through like I was showing you, and then you can pull the harness off. You need the harness if you change bumpers, because there's at least two important connectors. Obviously, that one, the main harness back to the truck. This one for the shroud, and I don't know what this one is actually for. Maybe it's tied back to the active air dam or something. But there's three important connectors. I'm gonna show you where they go and put the harness back. So you can see I have the harness back. That's gonna be fun. So the first way I showed you guys how to wire this, I didn't really show you, but would be to use an auxiliary switch. So you take the 3-wire system on that light, 3-wire system on that light. You connect power, they tee together with a supplied harness via power, and you have the black and black and red wires. That is power for both sides to get, you know, light power. And then you have the yellow and baby blue wire for each trafficating light to tie into. So that left side, or that right side, but that left side would tie into the left headlight. The right side would tie into the back of the right headlight. All you have to do is go through the wheel well liner, pull that back, taking off a few 7mm screws, I think. You'll pull that wheel well liner back, you'll get access to the back of the headlight, and you'll tie it in together there. That's still important for the application we're gonna do now, but I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna use the factory harness. Once I look it up, I'm gonna show you how to use a factory harness, come down to the existing fog light connector. Oh, that's actually, yeah, that is the activator dam. Yeah, this is the fog light connector, and find out which wire. It's just 2 wires, obviously positive and negative. Tie back into that. The reason why I want to tie back into that is the BCM of this vehicle. I'm just going to use some taps. The BCM of this vehicle realizes when you turn the steering wheel left or right, it turns on the applicable fog light. So that's why I kind of want it. I want that functionality, that factory functionality. So I want that back, and that's really it. That's really it. I didn't want to have to pigtail into the harness, and I was getting a check engine light because I disconnected these shrouds behind here. They don't have any power. The engine is like, hey, something's wrong. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do next. I'll show you guys in a second. Let's get it. All right, so I'm gonna try to do this without taking off the whole grill. I removed the trim valance that goes over the bottom portion of the grill. I loosened the 4 bolts I have for the bumper, so I have a little bit of play. Let's see if I can get it slide a little bit more further, which one I can loosen up a little more. And you can already see I have access to plug 1, the big harness plug, plug 2 that I taped off over there. And this one might be the hardest one to get back in, right on top of the grill. Let's see if I can show you guys. Right there, plug 3, it's right on top there. Yep, it just focused on it. That one right there, that's gonna be the hardest one to plug back in, but I think I should be able to get all 3 without taking off the bumper completely. But if I have to, so be it. And I'll show you guys how I'm gonna wire the thing up. Let's go. Call me what you want, but every time I work on my truck, anything electrical, that sucker's coming off. So I'm about to pop off the negative terminal, and I'm gonna start unplugging stuff and plugging stuff in. All right, change of plans. Because I'm gonna be doing all this extensive, quote unquote, extensive wiring, I'm gonna pull off, I pulled off the bumper. I'm gonna start reconnecting the harness, plugging it in where I think it can go, and then finding ways to make attachment points on the bumper for what needs to go on. So yeah, just not worth doing all that wiring and having this much open access to the backside, leaving all those wires exposed or hanging or dangling. So I'm gonna start zip tying stuff up to the bumper, and then I'm also gonna start plugging back in the factory harness. All right, so this is route 1 of the ways you can wire this up. Like I said, this is how I'm gonna temporarily keep it wired up. I still haven't tapped behind the blinkers because I'm not sure if I like them, but let me show you the lights wired with a switch. So I have a couple of accessory lightings on the truck. I got these fender flares from RockyAuto.com, and I blacked out the amber. They also have them in the back. I have everything connected to a remote switch. This is actually pretty good if you want to have some options with your lighting. Seeing that the fact that these are kind of white and somewhat pretty bright, I wouldn't think a switch would be the best thing, but let me just show you. So that's on. Again, camera doesn't do justice for how bright they are. Another thing I also want to touch on is when you get this bumper on, you really might want to, you know, check your lighting after the bumper is installed, because if you push it all the way up to the brim to where it's flush with the trim piece, you know, and you don't run a third bolt down here because they don't give you one. But if you get your own third bolt and you want to run it down there, keep it flat in the bottom, just make sure that's flush. That way you know that the angle of your light isn't like blinding somebody. Some people might actually intend for that to be the purpose. But like I said, I got them on a switch. My grill lights are not working for some reason. They're plugged in, but they're not working. So I gotta figure that out. Lights, got my ambers, using a switch. With a switch, you can do things like, you know, you could run different sequencing if your switch supports it, but having a switch gives you that flexibility to do whatever you want based on the switch and the relays and the controls, right? So that's that. Like I said, these are a 3-wire loop system. So keep it on here real quick. I'm just gonna give you a quick, ooh, can I reach? Can I reach? Can I reach the positive? I wanted to show you guys the turn signal, but I can't reach the positive terminal with this wire. So give me a second. All right, so I showed y'all the switch. Like I said, not my permanent install. I just have it here running to what I have, like a hot loop. I actually plan to add like a wireless camera. So when I'm parking or my wife's driving, you know, she has a front camera as well. So I'm gonna add a wireless camera to tie into my Android system, my car box, whatever you call it, smart box, whatever. So like I said, you've seen the whites, they're bright. And I just wanted to show you guys the turn signal. Let's look right here and then just see. It's already built in sequential. So it'll work off a relay basically. Yeah, and they go back to white. They know what to do afterward. So even if they're on or off, they'll go back. The good thing is it's a sequential initial function, but it's a solid after that. So let's say you want to run these as ambers or something, you could, you know, permanently wire these to a 12-volt source like that on the battery, and they will stay amber. And you could run amber. So that's why I'm doing all of this work to wire it, with the fog lights so that I can get my turn capability with the fog. And then I'm gonna piggyback the turn signals with my switch so that when I give them power via switch, they'll stay solid amber. So they'll do the sequential DRL thing when I'm turn signaling, but then they'll be solid whenever I turn on that switch, and they'll stay amber. And white will only come on when it's fog. So that's the goal, that's the plan. That's how I'm gonna wire them. Hope it made sense. I'll show you guys whenever I do the second phase of wiring. I gotta trace the wire harness and see, pretty much learn which ones are the DRLs from my factory lights and which ones were the actual fogs. So once I figure that out, I'll be tapping them, showing you guys how that looks, and finally be at a good spot. But yeah, it looks like I have to go back and figure out why these aren't working. Sucks, but welcome to the world. That's it, y'all. Oh yeah, I live in Houston. It's hot as hell. All right. So we got that. It's the lights. It's the lights. I gotta fix these things. They're not working. Grill lights are not working. I gotta fix those. But fogs look good, man. They're kind of bright though, huh? Yeah, those fogs are bright, man. Sick. Like them. Marker lights. Got them on the flares. Turn those off. Cool.